Hey friends, welcome to another episode of the DATEABLE podcast. We are your dating Sherpas. We're here to help facilitate this entire dating experience for you to make it better, to make it more enjoyable, to make it more pleasant. Right? That's our goal.
That is our goal. And this week, we don't have just 5 love languages to talk about, but we have 7.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, can you name all of the 5 love languages off the top of your head?
Words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, gifts, and then acts of service.
Nice.
And
now there are 5. Now there are 7.
Now there's 7. And we had the pleasure of speaking with Molly Owens, who's the founder and CEO of Truity. I've used the site Truity for all these types of quizzes. They have Enneagram, they have the 16 personality types, and now they have the love styles. So it was, she brings up a lot of points that we'll go into in the episode, but the original love languages were created eons ago. And it's like, why aren't we updating this?
I've always thought about how we kind of box ourselves in to these assessments that were created by like white men 80 years ago. Why are we doing this? We should be creating our own assessments.
I agree. I feel like attachment theory, which we talked about 2 episodes ago, same thing. Why are we boxing ourselves in? I think all of these are really good, though, because it gives us a sense of who we are, how we operate in relationships. But I think we can't be like, this is defining of me,
Yeah. Something to think about going into this episode for everyone listening is when you first took the love languages test, did you think it was your love languages in giving or receiving? Because I think this conversation, we go into your love languages in both of those, giving and receiving, and they may not be the same thing, which is fascinating.
Yes. I remember talking to my partner about love languages, and I went on an early date, and he was just like, I see this on everyone's profile. So I looked it up. I feel like attachment theory, love languages, all that. Actually, maybe people don't put attachment theory on their profile.
No one's like, I'm anxious attachment style. Looking for secure
totally
attachment.
Surprised, but I feel like people definitely do Myers-Briggs on their profile.
Yeah.
Definitely love languages shows up a lot.
Yeah. And what's the other one? Astrology. That one people put a lot. But I'm glad that people are taking these quizzes to get a sense of where they are today. And in this episode, I do reveal that I think my love languages change throughout time, throughout experiences, depending on which partner you're with. So, Julie, as you're coming up on your 1-year anniversary, what are your love languages?
I still can't believe it's been 1 year. And we're doing our trip to Carmel. So by the time this is aired, we've already gone. But my love languages now. I'm trying to think if they've, what's interesting? I think acts of service has shown up more. That was something when I was dating, it wasn't as prevalent for me. And I think a big part of it was that I was highly independent. And I was like, I don't need someone to like do the stuff for me. But when my partner cooks or when he cleans up after it, it does make me feel good. So I think that there is a piece of that showed up a little more. And honestly, even more than when we recorded this original episode. I actually talked about how that wasn't a prominent love language. And if I take the quiz, I think I would still get the same ones of quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation. But I guess I've learned to appreciate that one a little more.
What about your partner?
Definitely quality time and physical touch.
Yeah.
I think those are big ones.
Yeah. I think
What
those are
about you?
probably the most prevalent ones for everyone.
Yeah.
Mine used to be quality time. And now with my current partner, I think it's gifts.
Interesting.
Because I never thought that would be a prominent one for me. But I think, even this, Julie, when we first started dating, not you and I, but my current partner and I. Just want to clarify.
I didn't give you enough gifts. Is that what's going on?
He used to surprise me with all kinds of gifts. Remember the time I came back from Europe and he bought all the groceries for me, and then he stopped doing that. So then I kind of miss it. I never knew that was something important to me, but it felt like it was a sign of caring and a thoughtfulness. So that's kind of appearing on top. But for him, physical touch all the way.
Yeah. It is fascinating, like what we need and what we our go-tos, like what are the things that may have been there at the start. And yeah, I was talking to my partner about this, and like I think we've moved into a world where we just decide on activities together more. But at the beginning, it was more like him planning things, more of like the way that, relationships, at least heteronormative ones, are supposed to go, that the man is taking more initiative and all that. And it's really fascinating to me that, the things that we think we need at the beginning, or like we expect at the beginning, ends up not really being
No.
how it works a year later. And just like different things come out. So it is very fascinating that like now I'm able to reflect. What I like about anniversaries is like I can reflect that where we were a year ago and how things have changed.
So how have things changed?
I think we do that. So I'm going away for my 1-year anniversary this weekend.
Ooh.
So by the time this airs, I would have already gone. So we'll do any updates next week if there are any that are exciting. And I think though I like the year. I mean, obviously it's a milestone, but also it's a good point of reflection of just where I was a year ago versus where I am now, where our relationship was a year ago, where we are now, where my partner was a year ago, where he is now. There's so much growth, and like we've really had to challenge a lot of this inner critic. And I think that it's important to do the self-work when you're not in a relationship on your own, but it doesn't stop once you are. And I think new stuff comes up when you're in a relationship, or there's someone there to hold you accountable and to maybe challenge the way you think about things, and also challenge in a good way to be kinder to yourself.
So in the last year of being together, what is something that your partner has challenged you on?
I would say working through when times aren't 100%. Like I think there's many areas of our relationship that are wonderful, but a big piece is just conflict resolution. And I think he has really challenged me to also take accountability on my own too, and see where maybe my own blind spots are. I think I've done a lot of work, but I also feel like there's areas that maybe when you do a lot of therapy and self-work that you're like, I got this, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I think there's areas that, like I definitely am an achiever. From our episode last week, the overachiever archetype is me to the bone. And I think that I have, measured myself in terms of accomplishments. So if there is something that I'm not doing 100%, then I take it really personally. And he's helped me like realize there's ways that like just because like you can just because you can do something differently or better doesn't mean that you're not a good person and you're not doing it well to begin with. It's just other ways of doing things.
That's part of compassion too. It's a very necessary thing in a relationship, because if your partner's also like, you're not achieving, you're not doing this right, then you would just go down that dark, negative hole.
Yeah, I think the main thing too he's helped me with or challenged me on is slowing down.
Yeah.
I think before him, I was go, 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 high achiever mode.
Yeah.
And he definitely has been like, let's just enjoy a night chilling up on watching TV, And
Yeah.
I think before I was like, oh, that's a waste of time. Like, I need to just be doing. And while we do still do a lot, I think we do need that downtime. And sometimes that downtime can be where a lot of memories are created when you're doing nothing. We used to call it the Sunday test, right? When or the couch test, when you're like, there's no external stuff going on to make this an amazing date or amazing time. It's just you
chilling.
and your partner. And that I think I've really embraced a lot more since being with him.
And this kind of goes back to when we talk about like the first couple dates, how some people emphasize so much on the activity. Oh my gosh, we went to the museum and then we did this thing and it was so incredible, it was so unique. When you focus so much on activities in early dating, you don't know how to hang out and just be. So we always say, like, in the first couple dates, one of those days should just be like hanging out, no agenda, just to see if you can coexist together.
Right. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I remember actually one of our early dates, we did a picnic in the park and
Yeah.
he brought all these games and stuff for us to play, but
Yeah.
we didn't actually use any of them because we were just enjoying each other's company and
Yeah.
talking. And I think
Yeah.
that is the true test of a long-standing connection is, do you need activities or can you just be with one another?
Right. Right. Love that.
Yeah, it's fascinating too. I think the other big thing is teamwork. Like
Mm,
we talked about before, ways to evaluate a partner is to go to the grocery shopping and to go to IKEA together, like things that are less sexy of ways that you could work together. And we do this thing that we have like a Google Keep that's a list of all the items that we need to get for our weekly grocery run. And
nice.
we basically divide and conquer and we're just like knocking shit off the list and we're
Love it.
both going separate ways and it seems like such a trivial example, but I feel like it does show, teamwork and how you can like be better together.